Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Navigate Resurrection. Well, we found the Skull of Stone, took the Skull of Stone, ran out of the place the Skull of Stone was held and with the Skull of Stone, and then sprites came around and stole the Skull of Stone from us. One object down and we failed. Now we need to get the Eye of Cathrak from Castle Aithdoc. I think it was Cathrak, something like that. So, hopefully we don't fail this time, or off with our heads. Let's go in and see what we can find. Hello there. Castle Aithdoc. Well, we can go in, at least. You walk into the cavernous marble reaches of Castle Aithdoc. You have no idea what the Eye of Cathrak is, and it's doubtful that its owner will give it up too easily. You have to retrieve it, though, and soon or all may be lost. They use figures of immense size, whose limbs, woven out of twigs, they fill with living men and set on fire. They believe the execution of those who have been caught in the act of theft or robbery is most pleasing to the immortal gods. Caesar. Do these guys have anything to say? I guess not. Alright, let's start looking. North Wing, realm of the King Lord Relator. And this is South Wing, realm of the Dread Lord Borak. Well, King Lord Relator is where we're going. We're not going to go down, but we'll look around. North Wing. Seems we can't go in. Hall of Defeated Foes. This hall contains the statues of creatures defeated by the lords of Castle Aithdoc. Legendary stags, fierce Fomorians, competing fairies, each is immortalized in this stately hall. This altar is bright, shiny, and refreshingly clean of bloodstains or other grisly signs of druidic practices. In fact, it seems like the altar is mainly here as a good place to put the offering bowl. There is a large bronze bowl in the middle of the altar. The words, "Give generously," are etched around the lip. Do you put some money in the bowl? Sure, we can do that. When you start to put a few coins into the bowl, you feel uncomfortable. You feel compelled to keep giving, to put more money in. As you do, the money immediately disappears. Eventually, you stop at 100 coins. The bowl glows warmly, and you get a feeling of extreme satisfaction. Unfortunately, that's all that happens. Fine. You are standing in a gallery, looking down on a large chamber 30 feet below. There is a pedestal in the middle of the chamber. At first, you think that the thing sitting on it is a gemstone. You look harder, though, and realize that the gem in the place of honor looks like an eye. That must be the Eye of Cathrak. Now you have to figure out how to get down there. Hall of Remembrance. This hall contains statues of previous lords of Castle Aithdoc. The name of each is listed in the pedestal underneath. You note that the larger statue is of Cathrak, first lord of Castle Aithdoc. And that leads to the realm of the Dread Lord, which I guess we can't go to. So I guess we need to deal with the realm of King Lord Relator. Okay then. You walk the halls of the north wing of Castle Aithdoc. It's a humbling experience. As a Roman, you have seen or heard of the awesome grandeur of your people are capable of creating. However, your builders and planners have nothing on the fairy folk. The castle of the fairy folk doesn't look like it was built. Instead, it was molded like clay. It's as if a huge pair of skilled and loving hands shaped the living rock of the crags, forming an awesome structure, both delicate and impenetrable. The gleaming halls, filled with art and beauty, make you feel very small. They aren't quiet and somber. Instead, you hear laughter and music. The pleasant voices of the city echo to you from the massive feast hall to the north. Yet for all this glory and cheer, something is not quite right. The halls should not be so empty. You would expect to see many more people in such a fortress. What's more, the celebratory noise seems to have a forced quality. The shouts are a little too loud, the laughter a bit too shrill. It certainly bears investigation. Perhaps along the way, someone will tell you how to reach the Eye of Cathrak. Waiting chamber. Remain here until your entry is announced. Another waiting chamber. Oh, we'll take a look to the sides first. Ah! We actually have a view outside. How nice.
I want to be your friend.
Yes, shut up. More of a view outside. More of a view outside. Looks like we're going around the entire place here.
I want to be your friend.
Shut up. Eye pathway. South. That's probably the way to the eye, but we're gonna look around. When you enter, a ferry guard runs up and stops you. Where are you going? Humans aren't allowed in this area. Back the way you came, or you'll taste the tip of my sword, Roman. You step back. The lives of the ferries must involve more than innocent play and partying. This platform is clearly here for the beheading of condemned prisoners. The vivid, damp bloodstains indicate that it was used for that purpose recently. All you get from this sprite are incoherent giggles. These flighty creatures are notoriously poor conversationalists. No, I don't want to jump off the ledge. Huh. Blessed leather armor. Blessed leather armor, coins, other stuff like that. Well, that's the pathway to the eye, according to that. Pick the lock. Pathway to the eye. Beware, those not allowed will face swift death. We'll go there later. Eye pathway, north. Okay, we will go see the eye soon enough, but not yet. Oh, hello. Oh, it's just a ferryman. The ferries will allow your presence in their fortress, but they won't encourage you. This ferry ignores you completely. I wonder why we're allowed in. There are several cows here, mutely waiting their death and destiny as tasty snacks. They stand there, completely still and docile, barely moving a muscle. The fairies must have done something to them to keep them so quiet. I suppose so. Couple ferryman and ferrywoman. Various things that they have here, and such. More ferries. More rooms with things in them that we don't need to take.
How you doing?
It's very quiet, and there's not much going on around here. Not much at all, really. Oh, this is interesting. I have a feeling we're not supposed to go over there. Oh, hello. What's in these portals? Are they... Ah, okay. That makes sense. And that leads to the south, which we can't get to. Okay. At least we know how to get to the guard area. I think there might be a hidden passage here. Ah! I was right! With copper coins. Well, we have some copper coins at least. What about over here? That is actually probably entered from the other side. Or not. Maybe it's entered from the secret area? Or maybe it's not entered at all. Huh. Okay, back to looking around. This feels like a very dull... Ooh, this guy talks. Finally, some excitement. This ancient, withered fairy, meaning that he actually has a few wrinkles, sits alone in this room, drinking huge gulps of strong fairy wine. His bloodshot eyes lurch recklessly back and forth as they struggle to take you in. "I'm in the north," he says in a slurred voice. He concentrates, trying to make his voice clear. "I'm Ilnator," he manages to get out. "Servant of Lord Relator." "What is your job?" I'm a herbalist. Now, Cathrax's eyeball. I polish Cathrax's holy eyeball." "You were an herbalist?" Uh-huh. "Oh, I don't do what I was born to do anymore. Relator has me watching the eyeball." He wipes spittle and spilled wine off his chin with his hand. "How do you take care of Cathrax's eyeball?" He mumbles to himself for a little while. Then he remembers that you're there. "Oh, I just look at it, and polish it, and make sure that the big portal is still there to get to it." He drinks. Then he drinks again. "Where is this portal?" "It's around here somewhere, but it's all trapped. You better get Relator to let you into it. Don't, and boom. I don't know how you could keep the traps from killing you. It might be possible, but I don't know how. Why is Cathrax's eyeball holy? It's old. Really, really old. And an eyeball. It's a real old magic eyeball. What a thing to keep around, that's what I say. Iltanor slumps in his seat, sustaining himself with heavy swigs of fairy wine. Yes? Do you know anything about Lord Relator? Oh, I don't do that. Don't ask me about their fight. Relator and Borak and all. I'm not involved. Just watch the eyeball. You want to know more? Lord Relator is in the feast hall. What is your job? Oh, we already knew that. Okay, we'll go to the feast hall soon. These shelves are filled with dozens of scrolls, each written on beautiful, expensive vellum. It's a lovely library. You can't help but wonder what the scrolls contain. You pick up some scrolls, unroll them, and are disappointed. Even if you could understand the strange, flowing script, the illustrations make it clear that the scrolls are mainly stories about talking bunnies, nubile dryads, and other pleasant topics. Same thing there. Ah! Though most of these scrolls look irrelevant, your knowledge of fairy lore tells you that the Sidae often hide great treasure under the guise of uselessness. Thus you inspect the scrolls carefully. Your diligence pays off in the form of a pair of scrolls on the highest, most remote shelf. When you read them, you learn 2 very powerful spells. You now know how to cast Raise Dead and Break Barrier. Well, Raise Dead we already knew, and Break Barrier is a level 7 craft circle spell. And to my knowledge, we can't cast any higher than where we are. We can't really learn anymore. I would like to. I mean, hovering feet and past portal would be great. Well, hovering feet at least would be great, but we can't. At least we can cast up to Beast Call, and that's circle. This one, nothing, and nothing. Oh well, we looked. This is a small laboratory, filled with plenty of evidence and residual smells of intense magical experimentation. Your feet stick to the floor. You can hear hissing and the sound of claws on wood from behind the doors to the west. Sounds like some experimental subjects would like their freedom restored to them. We shall grant it, and then slaughter them. Like so. Nice try. But you die. Enraged Drakeling. Holy crap, that thing is strong. There we go. Bloody hell, that was surprisingly strong. You open this cabinet and find a host of small bottles, each of which contains some sort of strange reagent or magical ingredient. There's scales and powders, bit of web and tiny dried-out eyes, and salt and pepper for flavor. Unfortunately, while you're sure it's all very useful in skilled hands, you have no idea what any of it does. You leave it behind. You're just as likely to hurt as to help yourself with this stuff. Same thing there. Yeah, I suppose that makes a little sense. Oh, nice little garden. There's gotta be more around here. Something I missed. When you approach these doors, a grim, overcompetent fairy warrior stops you. Hold it! These are private quarters, no humans allowed. Go back to the feasting hall where you're welcome. Why am I welcome in the feasting hall? I feel like I missed something. Not welcome there either. That leads to, yeah. Okay, I guess we gotta go to the feasting hall. You enter the main feasting hall and see a sight of riotous joy and debauchery that would not be out of place in Rome itself. As you watch, dumbstruck, a host of fairy lords and ladies and their strange kin drink and cavort. It's a fantastic, crazy, lusty scene. On one table, a tall, pointy-eared lass, dressed torn, runs laughing down the length of a tabletop as a pair of young warriors follows her, one on each side of the table. As she runs, tankards and mugs of wine go flying, but no matter. Servants are quick to bring more. And thus the frenetic, strangely forced celebration goes on. Until they see you. The moment a sprite points out the Romans at the door, things stop. As if you flipped a switch. Everyone suddenly looks very uncomfortable. The young fairy lady takes a seat. Only one figure moves, an older fairy woman who runs quickly to greet you. I am Kendra, she says hastily, tapping a wooden clipboard with her pen. Mistress of Seating, if you wish to enter here, Romans, you must give me your names, so that I may place you. Very well. Kendra takes your names down in a neat hand on her clipboard. Excellent. Now while I record you, go have a seat in the waiting room. It's just south of the feast hall. I'll call you when I have your place. She pushes you back out of the hall. The moment you're pushed back, the partying resumes once again. As she does, you notice, sitting at the head table, an enormous fairy wearing a golden crown. That must be Prince Relator, the lord of the castle. He's watching you with interest. This time, when you enter the wild scene, there is no interruption. Now that you've been recorded, your presence is accepted. However, Kendra clearly doesn't like your being here. She walks briskly up to you. What, do humans have trouble hearing? I said go wait in the waiting room. Please. Now don't bother me again, or I'll give you a much less prestigious seat. Very well, then. We'll go to the waiting room. It'll be a bit of a run to get there. There we are. I just want to take a look. Ah. Okay, that's the way in. Alright. Let me just give a quick heal. A second one. There we are. Alright. Into the waiting room we shall go. You dutifully have a seat in the waiting room. You wait for 5 minutes. Then 10. Then 20. Just as you're about to get fed up, pull out your swords and teach the fairies some manners, Kendra walks into the waiting room. Good news, I was able to fit you in at the southernmost table. It's very low prestige, but with a few years' work you should be able to move up. Enjoy the celebration. Oh, and Lord Relator would like to speak with you. The southmost table, eh? Finally, you are allowed to enter the feasting hall. All the fairies ignore you as they continue their wild, careless, ceaseless revels. Actually, that's not right. One fairy is watching you, the fairy wearing the golden crown sitting at the head table. He's watching you intensely, although he makes no motion for you to come forward. This table stands out by being both unoccupied and clean. Little cards have been placed in front of the chairs, each with one of your names written on it. This must be your table. The food smells delicious and the wine looks great. You sit down and enjoy the celebration. I think we can sit for a while. We could use a little break. The moment you sit down, solicitous fairies' servants plop down platters in front of you. There's succulent roast beef, and sweet fruit, and tasty organ meats, and goodies and desserts of all description. The wine is easily the best you've ever tasted. The fairy celebration doesn't come anywhere near you. The strange creatures don't want anything to do with you. You ignore them. Soon your bellies are full to bursting, and the wine has you wobbly on your feet. Ha! And we are all slowed. And then it's gone. Oh, we'll look around a bit. Now this is something that makes you feel at home. Like all good Roman feasts, this party comes with a vomitorium. There are 3 brass pots here, each with a kneeling pad and several feathers nearby. Yet were it not for your experiences and the faint sour smell, there's little here to indicate the room's true purpose. The chamber's perfectly empty, and the pots are empty of even the slightest bit of used food. Do you grab a feather and try to use one of the pots? I suppose we may as well. You kneel, grab a feather, and empty the huge amount of meat and such you feasted on into the pot. The moment the vomit enters the vessel, it disappears. Soon your stomach is empty, and the pot is just as clean as when you walked in. Magical, self-cleaning vomitoriums. Now that is an innovation a Roman can respect. Well, I suppose when you got fairies like this, you can probably expect something like that. You peek inside Kendra's desk and find huge sheaves of records, details each person who is allowed to sit in the banquet, his, her, its social status, and the history of where he, she, it has sat. Placement in the feasting hall must convey great social status. And there's the kitchens. There's that. That actually leads into the kitchens. I didn't even see that door there. The wine, and you know, I do like the idea of the whole magical self-cleaning vomitorium. Yeah, we've already taken care of that, so we don't need to do it again. Alright, let us speak. You approach Lord Relator. He's as tall as the other fairies, but very bulky as well. There's a lot of muscle there, and a lot of fat, too. He bites off a long strip of venison, wipes off his hands on his doublet, and looks at you. I am Lord Relator, master of Castle Aethdoc, he says in a loud, booming voice. I have allowed you to approach me. I have heard that, though you are a dirty Roman, you can be useful. I like humans who are useful. Oddly, the fairies caressing all around you don't seem to notice that he's talking. Either magic is preventing them from hearing, or they're just ignoring him. Who are you? I am the Lord of Castle Aethdoc. I am the sole leader of the fairy kind of Shadowvale. He drinks deep from a goblet of wine. So you are the sole ruler here. He grins dangerously. Yes, I am the sole master. I am alone in my power. It is a shame you have no one to help your lordship's rule. Yes, that is right. He snarls. You notice that the fairies around you become even more vigorous in their celebration. I am the sole power here. That is despite this foolishness with my brother. Brother? Tell me more of Castle Aethdoc. Castle Aethdoc is the true central power of Shadowvale. Their Majesties Oberon and Titania have set the lords of this keep in charge of looking after their people. Of course, we have had much trouble maintaining our holy authority since the differences with my brother. Where are Oberon and Titania? Their dread Majesties, masters of the Fae. They are currently elsewhere. He grins wryly and drinks an extra-large swig of wine. The critical events taking place here are too much trouble for them to sully themselves by becoming involved. What critical events? Key momentous events which are our business. Not yours. Ours. Who do you consider to be part of fairy kind? Fomorians and sprites, beings of light and foul shadows, all must answer to me, the sole lord of this castle, alone in my might. Lord Relator tears off a long strip of half-cooked venison with his teeth. He is determined to enjoy the atmosphere of forced merriment as much as possible. Do you know of an Eye of Cathrak? The Eye of Cathrak. You're interested in that, eh? Well, perhaps you should listen to the mission I have for you. You wish me to help you with something. He grabs one of the bones on his plate and snaps it. My foolish brother Borak. We had a disagreement. Once we cooperated in joint rulership, but no longer. It has come to civil war. That is why I decided to see you. I have a mission for you. How long did you manage to rule together peacefully? So it was for, say, 200 years. I ruled in peace, and he ruled in war. I ruled the North Wing, and he ruled the South. I gave my people joy, and he led them in battle. Now, due to this foul disagreement, that ended. What was your disagreement over? He snaps at you. That is our affair, not yours. You will do your mission, get your reward, and not ask stupid questions. Tell me about this mission. My brother Borak feels that he should be leading us. Now is not his time. There's no other way out of this conflict. We have tried everything. He must be killed. It is the only way for us to be safe. He is very paranoid and his defenses are strong. However, we have found a secret route that you can use to reach him. If you do, I will give you our greatest honor. You may enter this central chamber and take the Eye of Cathrak. It is a sad but necessary sacrifice. Are you willing to part with the Eye of Cathrak? The Eye of Cathrak has been sacred to us for many centuries, but it is a small price to pay to bring unity to this castle. We would be more than happy to give it to you, eventually. He smiles innocently. How do I find Borak? Borak lives in the southern wing of the castle, protected by hosts of dark creatures and vicious traps. Most of them were created by a fairy named Boutel. Boutel vanished after the construction, killed, or so we thought, to protect Borak's secrets. Amazingly, Boutel lives, and we can help you rescue him. He will lead you to victory. Your Romans show you, so you should be able to manage. Why do you want Romans to help deal with your brother? You're probably wondering why I let you, a mere Roman, into my mighty presence. Well, I was. Well, we don't know why, but you Romans have a much easier time fighting our kind than the native humans do. He takes a drink. It's a problem, but until we solve it, I might as well use it. Huh. How can I rescue Boutel? In the southwest corner of this keep, there is a storeroom. There is a stairway leading south from it to a long rear corridor. It was blocked with an enchanted gate, but we have cleared the way. The corridor leads to the cells in Borak's wing of the castle. Boutel is still alive in one of them. We know not why. However, if you rescue him, he may be able to tell you how to reach Borak. Now go! And good luck to you. I see then. So, we are to head into... Okay. The cell leads to the cells in Borak's wing. Okay. This should be simple enough. Oh, that's Kendra. Can we actually learn anything from her? You meet Kendra, an aging fairy with long gray streaks in her black hair. She's tired and harried, running back and forth, moving around fairies from one seat to another. It's all very complicated and to them very important. I am Kendra. She looks at her clipboard, reads an entry or two, and frowns. What do you want? You have your seats. What are your duties? I am in charge of the seating of the feast hall. It is very difficult, so it would be best if you leave me alone before I demote you. What do you think of the feast hall? She waves at the hall. Lovely, isn't it? But not many seats. That's why seating is so important. Please don't demote me. You'd best not irritate me. The last sprite foolish enough to get on my bad side was at the south table for 8 years. Nobody bothered me for a while after that, I'll tell you. Why are the seats assigned? The prestige of an entity in this hall is measured by the quality of their seat. She has an attack of impatience. I mean, honestly, how else is status to be shown? You'll have to display it somehow. The closer to Lord Relator, the better. Naturally. Now leave me to my work before I demote you. Lord Relator is where exactly? Isn't it natural? Shouldn't the powerful and important be placed closest to our Lord? And that reminds me, he wanted to speak with you. He's at the head table. I wouldn't keep him waiting if I were you. We've already spoken with him, and we have learned everything we need to learn. Specifically, that is where we need to go. We will go through that door in the next episode. Next episode, we will find our way to the Dread Lord. There will probably be much fighting, and we shall see how things go. And I think, now that I think about it, I think I know why Romans are so much better than the native Britannians at killing fairies. Fairies are magical creatures. Thus they would naturally have an innate resistance to magic. The Britannians rely on their druidic spells and their magical abilities, while the Romans care little for that. They focus on on good old-fashioned Roman steel and might. So, of course, you can protect yourself from all the fire, all the ice, all the magical enchantments and such as you want. That's not going to shield you against a good sharp blade in the heart. So, next episode, we'll head to take care of everything in Castle Aethdoc. And if we do, we'll probably be able to very peacefully get the eye. But that'll be in the next episode. So, until then, I am Chester44. That is Julius, Augustus, Septimus, Octavius, and Rion. This has been another Gate Resurrection Let's Play, and I shall see you all next time.